All right, we're breaking into your regularly scheduled programming to tell you more about a small plane crash in Montgomery County that has left tens of thousands without power tonight. And also moments ago, we're just learning that Montgomery County schools will be closed tomorrow as a result of these power outages and all the side effects of what happened this evening. Just before 6 p.m., we learned about that plane crash. Two individuals inside, one from D.C., one from Louisiana, both in their 60s. We are live on the ground right now with our Daniel Hamburg. Let's go out to Daniel now. Daniel, what are you seeing on the ground there now? We know that a few moments ago, Pete Paringer tweeted a video saying that technical rescue crews are working to secure a plane there. What can you tell us about what you're seeing as we hold that shot?
Well, Annalisa, yeah, as you can see right there, there's a bucket right above the plane there. We just heard some cheering, and part of the crowd here just dispersed. So I personally did not see close enough, because it's kind of hard, as you can tell from this video, to see whether the people in that plane were taken down. But as you just said, we do know that Pete Paringer recently just said that they did secure the plane, so that meant that they were able to do this rescue. Like I said, the crowd here, we just heard several cheers from them. Waiting to hear more from officials right now. It looks to be the crane is going back up in the air there. There is one on the right-hand side that you are seeing on your screen right now, and then there is one to the left of that plane that's rising up there now over that way. So they are going back up again. There were two people in hard hats, rescuers, in that bucket. So we will see here in just a few moments as that raises up slowly for them to go back to that plane.
I'm going to come back to you in just a few minutes with a few more questions, but we want to go over now to that video from Pete Paringer, who has also been on the ground for several hours along with Daniel and emergency responders from across the DMV as they work to save those two people inside that plane. Let's take a listen. Are having trouble with the audio there, but I can play out loud just a little bit of what we heard here with Pete Paringer.
This is Pete Paringer with Montgomery County, Maryland Fire and Rescue. I'm on the scene of the plane crash that occurred around 5:30 in Gaithersburg. Right now, the crews are, the power lines have been secured, grounded. And now we have rescue crews, fire rescue crews from Technical Rescue are there working to secure the plane to the tower itself, and then we'll extricate the two occupants of the plane. We've been in constant contact with them. As you might imagine, they are anxious to get out of that plane. They've been in there for hours, but we have been in contact with them the entire time. They've been very patient through all this. But again, you know, we're working on securing them, so securing the plane anyway. Right now, the technical rescue crews are up there, and they are working to secure that plane. Securing the plane by various methods, fixing it, strapping it around to the tower itself so that we can get the people out. So that's where we are now. It's well after 11 o'clock, going on midnight actually. The breaking news of the hour has been that Montgomery County schools, there were over 40 schools at one point that were without power. The schools a short while ago announced that the Montgomery County public schools will be closed tomorrow, November 28th, or today, I guess. November 28th. Monday, November 28th, the Montgomery County public schools will be closed due to the widespread power outages. Now, Pepco, of course, has been working on securing the power, getting it back on, and they are doing that as rapidly as they can while they simultaneously have crews here. This is a Herculean effort taking place here in Gaithersburg off Goshen Road, but we are securing the plane to the tower itself. Looks like we have to remove some of the poles that are in and around that area to secure the plane. But again, that's the process that we're involved with right now.
All right. So again, we just heard from Pete Perringer there on the ground with Montgomery County Fire and Rescue providing information to viewers on Twitter, because a lot of people may not even be able to watch us on the air at this hour, 12:32. They probably are checking their phones if they still have a little juice left on their phone, checking their phones for the latest updates. So Pete Perringer providing updates on social media, doing a little quick live walk and talk Twitter video to show what's going on there. You heard him say they're working to secure that plane. Bonding is what we heard from Fire Chief Scott Goldstein earlier this evening, providing two updates, one at around 9 p.m. and another one at around 10 p.m., letting the public know that they are working to secure that plane so that it doesn't move, something similar to what would happen after a car accident. Then they're going to work to go inside and grab those individuals. Let's get over one more time to our Daniel Hamburg, who is on the ground. We want to stay on this live picture as this crane is now more than 100 feet in the air trying to rescue the individuals inside that plane that crashed into those power lines in Gaithersburg just before 6 p.m. This afternoon. Well, Sunday afternoon now. We're now in Monday. Daniel, what are you seeing and hearing on the ground?
Well, as we just said, it was hard to view from my vantage point here, but we can confirm that one person has been rescued from that plane. My colleague Max Marcilla, also on the ground on the other side of this rescue effort, says one person was put on a stretcher into an ambulance that he could see far off in the distance. So there were two people in that plane. So it appears to be they are trying to get that second person out of the plane. You see those two cranes up there. We were just told that the fire chief will be holding a press conference after the second person is out of this plane. This is just a remarkable scene. Those people have been in that plane for about 7 hours. So the fact that one of them has already been rescued is truly a miracle after this plane crashed into this tower. You can see at that upward angle right there, Annalisa.
Daniel, you said one person rescued, and so many people I know are breathing a sigh of relief. They were waiting for some good news, and we're getting this good news just after midnight here. There's the video image again of that crane in the air. Were you able to see, Daniel, how they were able to get the person out?
Honestly, I was not, Annalisa. You can see the fog is pretty thick here, and we're trying to look on these small screens. You probably have it bigger than we do, watching it on those on your TV screens right now. But it does appear again they had to secure both sides of this plane. There are two cranes on either side. The one on the left-hand side of your screen, that bucket, is how they got the person, the first, either the pilot or the passenger, out of the plane on that left side of the plane. But it is kind of hard. It seems that the fog has rolled back in here a little bit. Hard to see.
And Daniel, where you're standing, you were right in front of, just giving the viewers an idea of where you're at. You are in front of some shopping centers in that area. There were lots of people hours ago watching to see what would happen, and they were cheering when that crane went up. Where are those people now? Are you still seeing people around you?
There's still a little bit of a crowd after the first cheering that we heard for the first person taken down. Some people did start walking away, but there is still maybe three dozen people here standing around to watch.
Is there anyone close by to you that we could talk to? A reaction to this? What is happening around you?
And it appears they just got the second person out of the plane. Another round of cheers. You can see in these images we're showing to you live, this second person has been taken out of the plane and is in the bucket truck. This is just miraculous to see this live. The second person has been rescued. We do know that plane could be up there for several days as the FAA, NTSB, the other federal agencies investigate this. But that second person is coming down after almost 7 hours in that plane.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's such a remarkable accomplishment for the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Team, as well as other emergency responders from the DMV who showed up to assist here today following that small plane crash just before 6 p.m. with two individuals inside, both identified in their 60s, one from D.C., one from Louisiana, the pilot being from D.C. We are still waiting to learn more about their condition, exactly how they are doing after surviving something like this. We did hear from Chief Goldstein basically saying that he could not provide too many details in terms of how they're doing, but we should know more when they are on the ground. And this is live picture, a live video now of that crane coming down. They were up in the air more than 100 feet for several hours there. Our Max Marcilla is also on the ground. We want to go to Max right now to see how things are going on that side. But we just learned actually Max is heading over to Chief Goldstein to get another update on how they were able to accomplish something like this. Let's get out to that live picture again from our photojournalist Joe Poth. Can we go back out to that? Okay, both of our photojournalists are moving at this hour. Apologies, we are not able to bring you that live picture as the crane is going down there. But moments ago, I did talk to Montgomery County Executive Elrich. He talked a little bit just about how this has been going for the county. And he was basically saying that, you know, things were developing throughout the day and they were prepared. Let me play a little bit of that.
What can you tell us right now about what the county is doing? You guys have been responding to several large incidents this month. This is another big one for you.
Yeah. Well, basically, they're trying to secure the tower and make sure there's no charges in the wires in the tower itself. And then they have to come up with a plan for extracting the people in the plane. And that's, you know, trying to make sure that everything's safe, because obviously there's a ton of electricity up there. They've got to make sure that everything's secure and there's no way for anything to touch something and create a large, you know, voltage surge. So that's what they're doing right now.
And in turn,
okay, so you just heard a little bit of what Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich had to tell us moments ago before, as they were working to secure that plane and ensure that those two people were rescued tonight after crashing into power lines in Gaithersburg just before 6 p.m. Thankfully, moments ago, we did just see two cranes make their way down with the individuals inside. They were rescued tonight. We do know that is good news for the community. We heard lots of applause there as the rescue was taking place. Right now, we are going to get some more information about what's going on social media from our Brian Farrell. Brian, what are you seeing right now?
We're looking, and this is one I will be honest, I forget about SnapMap to see what kind of activity was out there. So there wasn't a load, but it really was people walking through and watching this entire night in darkness. Other than that, we saw that shopping center throughout the night as we kind of had the coverage. And we should probably mention too, if you are for some reason just flipping on, you kind of haven't been near your news for the day, you kind of haven't paid attention what's going on. We just moments ago found out that 2 people had been rescued after a small plane crashed into some power lines around Gaithersburg. It was bound for Montgomery County from New York. And those 2 people have been stuck again for 7+ hours, really. We know that the report of the crash took place around 5:30 p.m. on Sunday night. Now we're obviously into Monday morning, but that's kind of what happened. And that caused, at one point, we know, close to about 120,000 outages for power customers. And it's affected the school systems. The schools are not in session today because of that in Montgomery County, the public school systems. So people really have just been talking about it. We heard that, a little bit of applause moments ago as we heard that second person had been removed from the plane. Again, we're waiting to find out how the 2 of them are doing, but really that conversation kind of is that unexpected portion of the night. And for Sunday, there was someone earlier we know had shot some video, and she was kind of from an elevated section in the county there where she could look out and just see. And we've seen these videos of just the utter darkness that was out there. And a lot of people, she happened to be doing some sewing. People were just going about their Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, and all of a sudden they found themselves in darkness in their homes, thinking it's just a power outage. I mean, it happens. And then come to find out that, again, we had that plane stuck, and you can see it there really tight. And we've kind of been commenting just in the newsroom tonight, too. Some of the images, when you see this, like, how did it happen? The fact that it just got pinned in there the way that it did, the fact that it stayed there as long as it did, again, with 2 people inside of it. I think that's really the story out of this, that it is, again, a story of survival at this point, because you don't know in certain situations like this. Again, I think we do have to commend the emergency workers out there who've been on scene. Very much a coordinated effort, using the training that they go through continually, just training and training and training. And it is for this type of situation. Annalisa pointed out earlier, and it had struck me as Chief Goldstein was speaking about this particular situation. We just had that explosion and fire in Montgomery County just within the last couple of weeks. And, they were very taxed with that, getting 100 people out there at one point. And Daniel had said that, I believe he said he thought there were more out there for this one. And particularly because of the situation, I think, and you had a number of people who were watching to see what's going on with these 2 people. And, you look at the components and really the moving parts that were going on, and you had the power issue. Power had to be cut there before they could get up. You had to make sure that the plane itself was stabilized and was not going to just drop. There was really just a big effort. I mean, you say technical rescue, and this is about as technical, I think, as it probably gets to get in there and be able to get these 2 people out again who were traveling from New York bound here for Montgomery County, and probably, I forget what the actual mileage is, but very close to the airport. I think earlier we said they may have been even preparing or getting ready to come in, and for whatever reason, and that's, of course, where the investigation part will come in from the different agencies involved, both federal, local, and state. Maryland State Police obviously are very much involved in this. They were the ones who actually allowed us or gave us the information of where the people were from who were coming in. So again, that's what people are talking about. I think, and we'll be talking about for quite a bit for quite a while.
Amazing video, amazing rescue throughout the evening. So many people praying, rooting for a rescue like this. And we do have our happy ending here tonight, our very happy ending for those 2 people that were stuck in that plane for several hours, more than 100 feet in the air there. And another update, Montgomery County, from schools' perspective, Montgomery College campuses, apparently locations will be closed tomorrow as well due to the massive county-wide power outages that we've seen tonight. No word yet on how many people are still impacted by the power outages or when the power will be restored for those residents just at this time. But also Montgomery County Public Schools will be closed tomorrow as well. So just keep that in mind. And of course, we're coming out of that long holiday weekend. People were just celebrating Thanksgiving, had a 4-day weekend. We're getting ready to go back to school and work. You know, just around 5:30, this happened, cutting off power to tens of thousands, at first starting at 85,000 customers, then growing to 120,000 customers. So widespread power outages impacting people, but again, a happy ending here tonight for the individuals who were waiting to be rescued. And we do know that they were identified by Maryland State Police earlier tonight as two individuals rather in their 60s, one from DC, one from Louisiana. So good news there for those individuals that were rescued. We want to get back out live now. This is a live picture of an ambulance that is waiting right there. Wondering if which camera this is from. Team, do we know? This is a Joe Poth's camera, photojournalist Joe Poth's camera, and he is waiting for a press conference there. We're waiting to hear more from Montgomery County Fire and Rescue following this, what some are calling a miracle. I mean, one, this plane, you know, crashing into power lines, and somehow these individuals were able to survive. Two, they were able to be rescued after hanging up in the air for several hours there. And at one point, the conditions outside, you know, there was a lot of fog. So, you know, Fire and Rescue was saying the slippery conditions could have been dangerous for crews, but also the people inside. So good news tonight for you here on DC News Now. At 12:47 a.m., we're on the air with you. We've been covering this for several hours. Since 6 p.m., we've been on top of this. Our crews have been on the scene as well since 6 p.m. So we are waiting to learn more from fire officials. Do we have Daniel Hamburg or Max Marcilla on the line? Okay, is Daniel on the line?
Here.
Okay, Daniel, you have since moved.
Yes.
Where are you now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You have since moved. Where are you now located?
We are up the hill a little bit at the intersection of Goshen and Rothbury Drive here, where the emergency crews are. We are awaiting a press conference from the fire chief, Scott Goldstein. What we can tell you, I just interviewed two gentlemen who came here. One of them, a pilot himself, who said, you know, he only came here because he knew that these people were going to be rescued. He was telling me that he knows the particular airplane that crashed into these towers, and he said it is built very strongly. He said it's aluminum crashing into steel, which is what he told me. But he said it is a miracle, of course, that these two people survived. Keep in mind, as I was saying just a few minutes ago, they were in there for more than 7 hours, trapped in that plane. Only one could imagine what was going through their mind stuck up there. It took a long time for them to secure the plane, first shut the power off for them to be able to secure the plane, and then rescue them. So it is just a miracle. Both of them taken out. At this point, we don't know what their injuries are. As I said earlier, it did appear there was some blood on the arm of the pilot who was outside there. But that's what we have for now, Annalisa.
All right. Thanks so much, Daniel. We really appreciate it. And in the studio right now, we have our Brian Farrell. He's been checking in on social. And again, we just want to remind people about who was inside that plane. Brian, tell us a little bit more.
And
about
again,
that.
this was a couple hours ago that we knew, or within maybe even a few hours. It's been quite a while. But Maryland State Police, who is involved obviously with the investigation, with the situation, had released the names: Patrick Merkel, 65, of Washington D.C., the passenger; Jan Williams, 66, of Louisiana. Again, pilot and passenger, those two people, the only ones on board. The two people now who are not on board, they are rescued and have been brought down. We should mention too, and I was looking through this earlier to see if there was an update, because we did know power outages we had talked about, and also there is an impact for Metro for tomorrow. And just about an hour ago, WMATA had still kind of just said that there was the widespread power outage. It's affecting a good portion of the red line there. So it's, stay safe, allow for extra time in the morning if you use the red line over in Montgomery County, anticipate some delays. Now, some of that could change in the overnight hours. I'm sure WMATA will be updating us, and will be updating Twitter and its social accounts to let people know. But we know, too, coming off the weekend, it was going to be, or is going to be, the first day back to work for a lot of people. So for the morning commute, just keep that one in mind. The other thing we know that the power outages that affected earlier was some of the services at the hospitals. Two of the hospitals, in fact, were not accepting their normal patients as they would, so people were being redirected to other hospitals in order to accommodate that. But there will be some things like that, some services that may seem some effect. You think of everything we rely on that involves power, electricity. It's normal that that's going to happen. But again, I think when it comes down to it, people are going to be talking about the outages. Remember that the daily impact there that it had on people, but you really are going to be talking about two people who still are with us somehow. Were able to survive that. And I think that really is just going to be the big story for us for a long time, certainly. And we'll be throughout the night tonight picking up with our morning show when the crew gets in here to bring you the up-to-date coverage that we have. Again, we're anticipating some more information coming from Chief Goldstein, particularly now that we know those two people have been pulled out of the plane and brought down to the ground. And just taking a look again, people are talking about seeing that on social media as they've kind of witnessed it. We know a lot of people were out there earlier, some people still sticking around, because I think it's one of those things too where you want to see the end, and you want to see this end more than anything else. And that is what we've been able to say tonight in our coverage. There are a lot of times we can't have that good ending to things, and fortunately this is one of those times where we are able to say that two people have survived this, and it looks like they are getting ready. Yes, we're getting ready. Just so you know, we'll be taking this when we get it. They are going to have a news conference again. Pete Perringer, who keeps us up to date from Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, has been tweeting and providing videos and all throughout the night. Annalisa had played one of his videos earlier. Chief Goldstein will be up in just a couple minutes to talk to everybody. It seems like we're just kind of getting things into place right now to be able to bring you that information. But again, just to kind of recap, and if you've been watching throughout the night, you already know this, but if you are joining us, thank you. Thank you for staying up with us or joining us tonight in these overnight hours. We had earlier today, about 5:30 this afternoon, a small plane, single engine plane, that crashed into some power lines and really the tower that is there in Montgomery County in the Gaithersburg area. It was flying to Montgomery County from New York State, was on its way back here. Two people on board, two people who were stuck for approximately 7 hours, who now have been freed from that plane, have been brought down. We know, too, that the power outages went from, fluctuated between 85,000 customers to 120, we were told, 120,000 at one point. The explanation, too, from PEPCO was that this tower essentially fed two substations throughout Montgomery County, which is why you saw such a large range of outages throughout the county down to Wheaton, why you're seeing effects for Metro and things like that down from there to Silver Spring. Quite a big area that was affected by the power outages. It seems that some of that restoration has been taking place periodically. We know that one of our digital producers here had gotten some texts from friends and all. It does look like we are getting ready to go to this news conference, and Chief Goldstein is actually at the podium and is speaking now.
Remember, we got here about 5:30 when the original 911 call occurred for the aircraft into the power lines. So it was 11:30 hours. 11:30 is when the grounding was complete. That's when the tower company, their name is AUI. The acronym, the abbreviation is AUI, when they completed the grounding operations. It was right at midnight when the fire crew, along with AUI's personnel, were at the plane beginning the tieback operation. That is where they secure the aircraft to the tower itself. That was right at midnight. That was completed at 12:15 hours. At 12:25, the first patient was coming out of the aircraft and coming down to the ground. The second patient was out and coming down at 12:36. I'm going to just roll those times again. The plane was tied back and completed right at midnight. the tieback was started right at midnight. The plane was secured at 12:16. The first patient was coming down at 12:25. The second patient was coming down at 12:36. Both patients have been transported from the scene to local area trauma centers with serious injuries. Crews were going to be having a planning meeting in a few minutes in which we'd figure out and develop the next several hours of operations. So that will evaluate and make a determination as to what resources remain here, but it is likely that Goshen Road will be closed for quite some time as the plane needs to be secured, removed, and the power lines need to be restrung and reconnected. On the other parts of incidents outside of this site, most of the power in the county has been restored, rerouted by PEPCO and facilities, and our two hospitals that were earlier on limited capacity because of the power have been restored back to full capacity. So I will pause there and take your quick questions.
You said both patients serious injuries, you said?
Serious injuries to a local trauma center, correct.
Can you say the nature of their injuries is mostly exposure or what?
There is a hypothermia issue as well, but there's also orthopedic and trauma injuries from the crash.
Did you all expect that to go? The way you were describing it earlier made it seem like this might be a longer process. Was there some planning done on the ground, obviously, that sort of expedited the fact that you all got the static electricity going at 11:30, had the plane tied down 45 minutes after that, and had them down 20 minutes after that? I mean, did that go well? I guess is the best way to ask.
It went very well. There was definitely a lot of planning, a lot of plan A, plan B, plan C. When we got the AUI crew here, they said it would take an hour for them to do the bonding and grounding. And it was pretty much right on, that mark when that was implemented, then completed. What I do believe is faster than we expected was the ability to remove them from the aircraft themselves. Both people assisted us in their movement from the aircraft to the bucket of those tower units. So that made it for a much faster removal or extrication, as we would describe. But it was a part of plan, is having that A, plan B, and then C.
And how do you feel about your team obviously executing this?
Everybody working together in unison is what makes this successful. Both the two victims in the aircraft, as well as the team that was from the PEPCO, as well as AUI, and all of the fire rescue folks here. So it goes through training, you go through the capabilities of having skills, and the means to be able to effect this rescue and get these folks off to an area hospital is what we come to work every day to do.
You mentioned the road being closed. Just for people, residents in the area, is it closed because of potential risk for other?
It's closed because of the access of the machinery to support the operations, not because of the risk of the tower themselves.
Can you talk about just the sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can you just talk about the coordination between all of these entities? Obviously, you had rescue crews from Montgomery County, DC, and PEPCO and their crews. How tough is it to do this kind of a thing? And obviously, I assume you guys train for accidents like this.
And exactly it. It's training and coordination. This region is relying upon each other in the emergency services arena to work together. We do that on a daily basis, so the tech rescue folks from both jurisdictions do train together. The opportunity of having a plan B and C, as I said a second ago, is why we called for additional resources. Because when you get to the point of needing other capacity, you don't want that to be an hour or two away. So the capability there is where we rely upon the resources. From coordination, absolutely. From the time we started this at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, coordination between PEPCO, AUI, as well as all the other partners is what was contributing to our action plan. We make an incident action plan to address the issues, and every time that's developed, it's done with all the stakeholders. So each time and point, we got and learned a little bit more, a little additional parts. which is how we knew why we had to take the next steps that we did. Slow, methodical, and risk-based.
And you mentioned in an earlier press conference, likely several days before getting the plane down. Has anything changed? Is that still what you're looking at, kind of looking forward?
There's a meeting in a few minutes where we'll talk about the next hour or two of what we're going to do. It'll be determined during that, still to be updated.
Did you ever lose contact with the people in the plane? I don't know if you mentioned it earlier. How were you in contact with them?
Cell phone contact with them. They stayed on the line with the 911 center dispatcher for a long period of time. We started relaying messages through that dispatcher, and then we transitioned to us calling the 2 occupants in the plane directly. We did moderate that contact to conserve cell phone battery. So we started that into basically a 30-minute interval call and touch base so that we could save that cell phone battery.
Chief, can you tell us, did it ever become ever hard for the battery percentage to save while that was during medication or no?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
Did it ever become hard whenever it was for like the battery percentage, like to save batteries? Did that ever become a trouble or no?
It was a concern, and it was moderated and managed. Luckily, with a couple different devices and using those devices, conservatively, we were able to continue that.
Chief, I know you guys aren't the.
Chief, can you describe the victim's state of mind? What were they saying, kind of their perception of what was happening?
I cannot.
I know you guys aren't the investigative agency. Can you give any insights about who's investigating? Is the FAA?
FAA is on site.
Okay.
As I said, Maryland State Police in the state is investigative authority for aircraft incidences. They're on site. Beyond that, that's part of our next briefing. So 2 more questions, folks, and now. There will be some remaining hazards in the plane. That was shut off by the pilot. The electricity, fuel, and the other shutdown procedures were completed by the personnel in the plane, but there still will probably be some left there, as well as pooled in other parts of the aircraft. So that's an issue that we will be addressing. Last question. Anybody? All right. I'll turn it.
Happened? I know they're investigating. But
Do not. I'll turn it over to Pete.
When will the next briefing be?
I'll turn that over to Pete.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There will be no more briefings from us, at least in the short term. So certainly be out here tomorrow. We are going to have overheard. I know there's a planning meeting going on now, but I did overhear that we plan to have some fire rescue hazmat people here assisting PEPCO and the other contractors in securing and removing the plane. As the chief said, they have to reconnect some power lines, which will probably take a few days, I would imagine. There's some damage there to the tower that would take a couple of days, if not a couple of weeks. And of course, we have to get the plane down. So PEPCO and the contractor has requested our presence here because of the hazmat potential. And so again, their planning session will go on now, but that's kind of the way it will be going forward. The roads will probably be closed. As you know, the schools are closed for today as a precautionary measure because so many were without power. I understand PEPCO's done great work getting the power back on throughout the county. Maybe couple, 10 or 20,000 people still without power, but that should be resolved in a couple of hours, I would imagine. So, no planned briefings further than this for now, but we'll be back at it. I'll probably be out here tomorrow at some point, but I'm sure I won't see any of you guys.
Well, out of curiosity, are you going to have anyone that was directly involved with the rescue? Are you going to make them available for interviews? Do you have any video maybe of the actual rescue, or is that going to go through red tape?
All right, we were just listening to Montgomery County Fire and Rescue celebrating a happy ending to this story that we have been following since around 5:30 when a small plane crashed into power lines in Montgomery County, leading to widespread power outages. Well, we just learned that AU Power Company completed the grounding operations, which led to them being able to reach the 2 individuals that were inside that plane that was stuck about 100 feet in the air. They were identified as Patrick Merkel, 65 years old, from D.C. Also, the passenger identified as Jan Williams, 66 years old, from Louisiana. Now, around 12:16, the plane was secured. 12:25, the first patient was coming to the ground, according to fire and EMS. 12:36, the second patient was coming down. The second patient was rescued. Now, we know those two individuals, the pilot and the passenger, they were transported to trauma centers with serious injuries, with hypothermia issues and trauma issues from that crash. And so we are still waiting to learn more about how they're doing exactly, but thankfully we know they were able to be rescued, and that is the good news tonight. Goshen Road, that road along that area where emergency responders have been surrounding most of the evening, that is going to be closed for a while. So you will want to avoid that area tomorrow during the morning rush hour. Power lines will have to be restrung, according to Fire Chief Scott Goldstein. The ability to remove them from the aircraft was a lot faster than they were expecting tonight. You know, they were thinking this could take several hours for them to safely remove the pilot and the passenger following this crash, but they were able to thankfully do this a lot faster than expected. Fire Chief Scott Goldstein saying this was a result of great training. And, you know, we have to say, I've watched the Montgomery County Fire and EMS crews on several scenes for the last 6 years, and I can tell you they are definitely the best of the best at what they do, always professional, always providing updates to the community anytime something serious like this happens. So I had no doubts in my mind that they would be able to pull this off. And there we see it this morning now, 1:07 a.m. We are seeing what is a result of their great training. Officials have been calling the pilot and the passenger throughout the night. That's how they were able to communicate with them, to be able to make sure that they were doing okay in there. And thankfully, their phone batteries didn't die before this rescue. They were monitoring that, and thankfully, they were able to reach them before their phone batteries cut out there. We are expecting another briefing sometime today, but Montgomery County's Pete Parringer did not provide an exact time on that. The plan is to have some fire and rescue crews assisting PEPCO as they now work to remove the plane, which could take days. PEPCO's repair on some of those power lines could also take days. For now, for more on the power situation, which has been the major concern for those on the ground tonight. Let's go over to our Daniel Hamburg. Daniel, what can you tell us about the power restoration, especially at those hospitals that were impacted?
Yeah, so Chief Goldstein said that the power has been restored to the two hospitals that had to go into a bit of a plan B because of the power situation. A lot of the customers' power has been restored throughout the county. They just had to reroute some power through PEPCO. Of course, there are still some customers without, and that may take some time. But we do know that Goshen Road right here, where this power line is, right behind me this way, will be closed for some time. It could be a couple days, as we've been talking about, because that plane has to be removed. I'm sure inspected by the FAA to figure out exactly what happened and carefully removed. There's also some lines when that plane hit the tower. Some of the power lines did snap and come down, so there's some rewiring that they need to do there. But really, you know, it is a remarkable situation, as you just said. Both people in that plane were taken out, being taken to local trauma centers, some hypothermia issues there, but the public information officer, Pete Parringer, tells us that those injuries are not life-threatening injuries from what they understand. But right now, as you mentioned, in terms of another press briefing, there is not going to be another one tonight. and not even one planned for Monday, but crews will be out here, and that public information officer, Pete Pieringer, most likely will make himself available as we look to learn more information, especially from Pepco, the power company, about how this happened, or how they were able to secure this location, secure the tower so that the rescuers could go up there. Still, of course, a lot of unanswered questions, but the main news tonight is that both people in that plane were rescued, and that is a miracle right there.
Yes, Daniel, such good news there. We are so happy to hear that news. And to get more perspective from on the ground now, let's get over to our Max Marcilla. Max, are you there? All right, we can't quite hear you just yet, Max.
How about now?
How about now? Yes, we got you. Hey, Max.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, and it still takes some time to figure out. You have to unmute on Zoom. But look, Annalise, Daniel just laid out a lot of the new information we learned, and doing this because it's been a very long night. Camera batteries, phone batteries are on low. But as you mentioned, just so important that the pilot and the passenger in the plane were able to stay in contact with the fire and first responder crews from the first press briefing. And this was actually a question that we asked to the fire personnel about the training, because this doesn't happen every day. We talked with people, we've been following our coverage throughout the night. This has happened before, but it's not an everyday occurrence. So the fact that they were able to get this power restored, kind of go about the stages that they outlined straight from the 9 o'clock press conference, and kind of do all of them, hit all of the checkpoints, and stabilize the plane, and then get the first person, the pilot, and the second person, the passenger, get them out safely, get them down. We saw them be wheeled into the ambulance and then transported to the trauma center. As Daniel mentioned, they have a couple of serious injuries, including hypothermia. But the fact that Montgomery County really laid out the plan to the media, to the public at 9 o'clock, and spent the next few hours executing that plan. It was very, I don't know if they would say it, because clearly this is a very tough night, and injuries, especially serious injuries, are clearly not good. But they laid out their plan and they executed it. So to some level, you can describe it as success.
Man, Max, thank you so much. So exciting to see this. Daniel, Max, thank you for your time. Thank you for your reporting throughout the evening. You guys have been great, so thorough. We really appreciate it. All right, now back in the studio here, we are going to go over to our Brian Farrell. Brian, what a day.
Yeah, and I don't want to overstate it. It's been a long day. It's been a long night for you, Annalise. I know you've been out, Max and Daniel, but there's a couple words as you kind of peruse social media, you look, and they kind of really sum up, I think, where we started, where we've ended. One person, actually several people, crazy. That's kind of how we started. It was just a crazy sight. All the plane crashes that you hear about, you see. Someone had said, I've never seen a plane crash like that, because you saw the pictures and you see how incredible the crash itself was. The other word really, I think, sums it up is bravo at this point. Bravo to everybody involved. An incredible job done, and that's what's brought us to this point. The other thing we should talk about that's incredible is part of the reason it went so quickly from the time they secured the plane to when they got that first person out. And again, it was tied back. It was secured 12:16 a.m. 9 minutes later, first person's coming out, and then 12:36, second person's coming out. And they said it was partly because the people in there, again, serious injuries, you heard Max talk about that, but the people in there, the pilot, the passenger, were actually able to help crews get them out. So they were in good enough shape to be able to do that, which got them out a little bit more quickly than maybe first anticipated. But again, some serious injuries, hypothermia related. They did say some orthopedic that was related from the actual crash, because you have to remember that thing still hit and would have jarred them. But again, I'll just bravo, incredible job and work by everybody.
Yes, it has been our pleasure to provide you the very latest information, updates on the widespread power outages, as well as the rescue. We brought it to you live here on DC News Now. We'll provide you with more coverage coming up at 5 a.m. just in a couple hours here on DC News Now with more on this amazing rescue. We can't say that enough. Amazing rescue this morning here. We'll see you then.